Alrighty, hey guys, what's up? I'm actually like super hyped for this week because it was a totally unexpected stream. I didn't expect to be doing this tonight, but the Astrea Type-F2 just came out of nowhere. Um, as was pointed out, if you guys are reading the chat, Mana did mention that we have the Type F, not the Type F2. Granted, it's not a terrible amount of difference between the two, but it's a new suit. It's a new limited Sokai banner. Honestly, considering the stream we've had up until this point of the same stuff, I'll take it. You know, it's a good sign at least that we're getting some new content. We'll see what happens in the following weeks, huh? Oh. Hey, Kyle, Brudax. Alright. Oh yeah, we got some people here. Cool. Yeah, so like, it's not a new suit, as in like we've never seen it or variants before in this game, but it's a new suit. It's an upgraded version of a suit that we've had before, so it's in that healthy middle, you know. It's like getting the Ale Strike and then getting like the perfect Strike Gundam, right? It's like, yeah, technically it's a new suit, but not really. So, yeah, I'm just gonna look at the alteration for it because it's a 7-star suit. As I always say, there's really no point worrying about the stats on these things. It's just power creep after power creep. But we can definitely take a look at the traits that it's bringing, the tags, kind of get an idea what the suit offers. Okay, so let's start with the head. While Pro Tag, EX skill power boosted by 40%. Alright, I'm assuming this is going to be more of a melee suit considering the base suit itself. The EX skill power boost to 40% is the de facto standard that we see on limited suits, so perfect. With Whip category equipped, all enemies cooldown time up 25%. So whips, they're not in a terrible place, they're not in a really good place, they're kind of in that, I would say like middle high-ish, in that area, you know. The all enemy cooldown time up 25% is nice. Obviously does exactly what's printed on the tin. EX skill cooldowns, they have an extra 25% added onto them. You will have to stack this very high because almost everyone is running near, if not 100% CDR. So yeah, I don't know if that trait works best on a primary suit, but that's definitely like a support suit kind of deal. However, do keep in mind, from what I understand listening to people that do testing for this stuff, the cooldown time up only affects the, like, whatever suit is being targeted by the suit that has this equipped. It's not like a global effect, it's weird. Unless they fixed it or changed it, in which case, awesome. But second trait's kind of... Is this a new Astrea version or an alt? Eason, this is a new suit. This is the Type F2. We had the Type F up until this point. A minute difference, but a difference nonetheless. Okay, Pro Tag and high mobility. Alright. So, honestly, all things considered, I like that first trait, pretty solid. The second trait is a real hit or miss kind of deal. You just have to donate a lot of parts to bring that up to a number that will actually affect your opponent in a meaningful way. And honestly, I personally think there's better traits you can put on there to begin with. It's funny how every week you have to explain the same traits. Yeah, but don't forget, like, as much as I know that most of the people that are watching this stream know this content and they just kind of want to see what I have to say about it, there are still occasionally the odd group of people that drift in here that may not know the game or don't, you know, play often, or they're casual. And I like just explaining it to make sure that in case someone that's not so savvy on the game tunes in, they know what's up, you know? Okay. Let's take a look at that torso. NGN Bazooka and GN Launcher. Cool. Fire, a mix attack, a beam, and projectile. So, We do have EX skills that are marked with physical or beam, and the damage type does get mixed. Reading this, where it says his attacks with a mix of beam and projectiles, it makes me kind of concerned. I hope you guys understand why I'm concerned, that this is splitting the damage between physical and shot, even though it's marked as a physical shot EX. So the reason that may be kind of is you got to remember some builds that people have do focus purely on boosting physical physical EX skills or beam EX skills. The only thing I can really hope is this doesn't mix shot and melee. If it mixes shot and melee, this is a complete wipe. If it's just mixing shot and or like physical and beam damage, it's still salvageable because a lot of traits are agnostic in what it boosts. So it's not like, I should say, more common recently is EX skills that are just, or traits that are just boosting EX skills. We haven't really seen a lot of boost beam EX skills by 40% or boost melee EX skills by whatever percent, right? So it's just been more often than not, at least on the limited suits, boost EX skill. So we'll see when we take a look at the video what it looks like. Should be fine though. I can't really see this mixing melee and shot. It doesn't make sense. But physical and beam, I can see it mixing. It's mixed. This EX type exists on Type-F already. Okay, so it does split between physical and beam. Okay. See, again, you know, like I was saying, it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't do beam or shot and melee, but it's mixing physical and beam. That's okay because you can still put it on your shot build. You'll still have your EX boost stuff, whatever. But if it mixes melee and shot, that's where you run into a lot of issues because your shot or melee will be really up there and the other stat won't be as high. So you're kind of getting very reduced results from that EX skill. But mixing two types of shot is fine at the end of the day. Just some builds are specifically for beam or for physical, which this may kind of feed into in a bad way. But on paper, looks good. D Pierce, A- power, low cooldown. It's one of those kind of pocket rocket skills, and that's fine. I guess my only real gripe that I have with this looking at it is that even altered at max, we're looking at A- power D Pierce. I almost expected this to be like A or A+, maybe even boost the Pierce a little bit, or have some kind of boost attached to it, you know, like boost shot by 10% or 19% or something, just as a token. Could be worse, right? We'll see the animation. It's been a long time since I looked at the Type-F, so I can't exactly remember what this looks like. Pro tag and high firepower, okay. Let's check out the arms. GN hand missile and proto GN sword. So this is one of those, yep, double B+, cool beans. Slash and fire your hand missile, physical melee. That sounds like something that'll mix melee and shot, at least to me, because, you know, you fire a missile, it's not really melee anymore. Shot melee mix, yeah. Okay. So this is what I was talking about as one of those like danger zone EX skills, where part of it does melee damage and part of it does shot damage. Typically, and I say this loosely because everyone's build is different, and some super high-end builds, it's negligible, but you'll have higher melee than and much lower shot, or much higher shot, low melee. Where this skill comes in, right, you'll do your physical attack or a melee attack, and then you'll do a shot attack, and you're gonna get reduced returns from it versus something that is just purely shot, or one that is just purely melee. So this is danger zone, not worth it. No, stay away from this one. 10-foot pole. It's physical for both, yeah, but it doesn't solve the issue of like half of it is melee, half of it is shot. It's fine if your suit is stupidly spec'd out and you're sitting at ridiculously high values for both, because yeah, who cares at that point? But the overwhelming majority isn't there. So pro tag, high mobility again. Okay, let's take a look at the legs. GN beam pistol, and that's an A pierce B plus power, very low cooldown on this. All right, cool. Yeah, okay. Have to see the animation on this, because on paper this looks really, really solid. A pierce and B plus power is gonna do a lot of damage. There's got to be a catch to this with this low cooldown. On paper looks good. Pro tag Gundam type tags. All right. Backpack. Trans Am Rampage. Cool. Raise speed of your squad by 20%. Melee attack of your squad by 29%. Shot attack of your squad by 39%. All ranged weapon reload speeds boosted 53%. Double S minus power, D pierce, and it's a cutscene. Wow. Now, here's kind of... So that's a good EX skill. It has that cooldown reduction thing for shot, which is really nice. A steroid for shot as well. Solid EX skill. But, like... the suit's weird, man. So, we have Pro Tag as its main tag. Makes sense. It's a protagonist suit. But it doesn't feed well into kind of what the suit brings to the table, right? We got shot EX skills. Its primary EX skill boosts shot and reduces shot EX cooldowns. As a mono suit, this looks kind of mediocre at best, but cherry picking parts out will work out pretty well. Yeah, this suit is a shot melee hybrid, right? But you pick out parts from this and put them in other suits, this could work really well for you. All right, let's take a look at the shield. When armor is 60% or more, enemy all power reduced by 30%. That is solid. If you stack enough of that, you can, well, enemy can't do much. Do you remember, all power refers to everything. That means, oh, excuse me, neutral attacks, EX skills. It means your cutscenes do not, you just can't do damage if you stack enough of this. Really solid. Outfighter job, all power boosted by 35%. That is a terrifying shield, honestly. So, off the rip, you are getting a 30% enemy all power reduction. So everything they do is just a third of it out the window. That can be really useful, again, if you stack enough of these parts to get their power to 0%. You're chuckling to the bank. Outfighter job, super easy to get your hands on. We have an uncountable amount of outfighters in this game at this point. And all power boost by 35%. Feeds into the pro tag. It's free real estate, man. Like, that is a solid shield. That's spooky, man. It'd obviously be better if the first trait was also an all-power boost of, like, 30% or something. But hey, you know what? I think that's pretty solid, frankly. As far as shields go. Prote Gundam type. Aight. Alright, let's take a look at the sword. Proto-GN sword. While Pro Tag, enemy melee cut minus 30%. So, I know what you guys are, you know, the ones that know this game know what I'm going to say. But for anyone that is new, not really, you know, savvy on how this works, when you have a trait like enemy melee power reduced by 25% or whatever, that first trait here, enemy melee cut minus 30%, is meant to remove that kind of trait from the enemy. So if they did have a minus 25%, this would negate that completely. However, there is no floor, it can go into the negatives. So in reality, the best way to look at this is as a boost to you. While Pro Tag, your melee power is boosted by 30%, because in reality, that's more or less what it works out into. So, and while Pro Tag, enemy melee cut by a further 35%. So with this sword, as long as you're running Pro Tag, which is very easy to do, especially for a melee suit, as it's one of the core tags you're going to be running on it, you're getting a 65% melee power boost. That's a good sword. Moving right along. And it comes with Pro Tag High Mobility. If we get a team of 3 of these suits, I guess enemies have no attack power anymore. So, in theory, if you stacked enough all power cut by, 30%, you could make the enemy do 0 damage. Do keep in mind, though, that when they have, EX skill power boosted by 40% or melee power boosted by 30%, right? You're going to have to add that into the formula that you're doing to determine how much all power cut you actually need. Because, yeah, it's kind of the way the game works. So, unless, they decided that all power cut works as its own separate calculator, in which case, yeah, you only need 100%. I haven't tested it. Honestly, I'm not really, what's the word? I'm not willing to blow all my Haro, every couple of weeks to just test a single feature. I'll leave that to the whales or the people that really like these suits. They can test it. I'm not just gonna blow money for testing purposes. That ain't my jam. Oh, am I cutting out? Whoa. Okay, that should be a little better. Because now I'm not so far from my microphone. But anyways, as I was saying, you could theoretically cut their power down to 0%, but it just depends on a handful of factors. How high are their boosts? How much cut do you have? All those kinds of things. So, yeah. Anyways, let's take a look at the GN Hammer. When attacking with physical, squad all power plus 35%. That's very simple, very straightforward, and very good. Physical is dime a dozen. When attacking with physical, enemy all cut minus 40%. So in reality with this is actually a very rare agnostic part here in the melee slot. This can work on a melee suit, it can work on a shot suit, doesn't matter. What you have to keep in mind here is the only requirement is you are using physical. So that means something like the Strike Noir backpack. It could mean something like the Astrea Type-F2's torso. All sorts of things have physical shot, and you would get the boost, or use any of the physical melee skills that we have on hand, and you get the boost. Frankly, this is really good. This is a 75% total all power boost when you use physical. And the best part is the squad all power boost means this is actually a viable part to put on your support suits, because it means by default when you're in a match, you use physical, that all power boost transfers to your main suit. We've seen this on other parts before as well, where it's a squad all power boost for something, and it's very good. The mileage is great on it because you don't have to worry about swapping out parts on your main suit. This just goes on your support. So honestly, amazing. Pro tag, high firepower. Okay, let's take a look at the dual pistols. When attacking with beam, squad all power plus 35%, and when attacking with beam, all power boosted. Okay, so what we have in front of us here is the Wombo combo. If you have a support suit that has both the shield and the gun, you're looking at a 75% boost to beam and physical on just that suit. You get a 35% boost to your primary suit. Long and short, do the monster math. If you have these two parts equipped on all 3 of your suits, so your primary, your 2 support suits, you're looking at a boost of 105% on physical and 105% on beam shared among your squad, and then a further 40% boost to your primary suit for both of those. So you're looking at 145% final total on your primary suit for physical and beam at the cost of 2 equipment slots. That's really cool. Both the sword and the shield and the dual guns here. No, whip? Let me double check. Brain is cutting out. Yeah, so The whip and the guns together, I think, are absolutely amazing. They're both relatively expendable slots for things, and you get amazing traits out of them, like amazing traits. I think the only issue is obtaining 3 copies of each. That's definitely going to be the hard part of this entire equation. So all the event suits lately have been 4 stars that have an alteration. Do you think once you run out of those, you might get something new? Well, Kyle, this is new. I don't know about you, but new suit. Granted, it's a variant of a suit we've already got, but it's still technically new. In terms of, do I think we're going to start seeing more new suits when they run out of stuff that can get alterated? I would assume so, as once they kind of run, out, that's that. But do remember that there are 3 attributes, and most of our event suits only have 2 attributes currently on the board, if that. So there's still a lot of recyclable content available. Do I hope they keep using recycled content? No, I love seeing new suits, I like seeing the progress, but as I've brought up before, I do understand that for 2.5 years, week after week, it was just new events, new content, new suits, everything. And there's like one other game I know, Tales of Luminaria, that did that. No other mobile game I know does. So, if they decide to rotate back and doing just alteration stuff, okay, take a break. You guys did work for 2.5 years. But I obviously would prefer new suits and new content, because that is what drives the game. That's what gives me something to talk about week to week and be really hyped up and excited for. Right? At least the pilots are new, right? But yeah, I'm hoping that going into the anniversary, we start seeing more new suits and new content. Perhaps they'll give us a new big patch that adds features or something. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though. So yeah, just got to keep the positivity up. At the end of the day, like, don't get me wrong, guys. I know a lot of people have been quitting the game because, it's all just old stuff, recycled, blah, 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 game dead, EOS. I get why you think that. Don't worry. But at the same time, when you think about it in the greater scheme of things, you don't really need to put a ton of effort to do your dailies in this game. You don't really need to put in a ton of effort to do the events, week to week. Or I guess now bi-weekly. There's really no downside to just sitting it out until anniversary and seeing what happens. But I also understand the people that have uninstalled, moved on, whatever. I look at this as kind of a side game. When it launched, it was definitely kind of more of a primary game for me, but after about a year and a half, it kind of moved off to more of a side game that I played every now and again. Kind of kept in the loop, did the streams for, obviously, and content for, and I liked the game, playing it, but I don't know. I think with the age of the game at this point, it's I've definitely kept in the side game status, so to me, it having a lull of content doesn't really affect me, but yeah, mileage may vary. Anyways, let's take a look at our last item here. The NGN Bazooka with power attribute EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. That's yeah. Do keep in mind 23% is currently the highest mod we have for this, so 20% second best. Good stuff. And with power attribute EX skill power boosted, excuse me, by 35%. Very, very nice symbiotic trait thing going on here. You have a trait that boosts your EX skill power and one that reduces your EX cooldowns, and the trigger for both of them is just the power attribute, which is very simple to get. You just 5 of any attribute part, or I guess in this case, 5 power attribute parts, you're good to go. Same goes for the other ones. So honestly, that bazooka, as much as I hate my bazookas, actually pretty good. Not as outlandish as the mace and the dual guns, but still pretty good. Okay. And I believe that's it then for the new content, because it really was just the F2 that got added this week. Yeah, kind of a left field announcement too, which I was quite happy for. If you see Japanese GM's Twitter account, no one complaining about these, so we'll keep like this. So I don't think that's the best way to look at it. I think, like, you gotta understand, right, is the cultures are very different between how Japanese Twitter handles things and how the Western audience, and I say that very loosely because you got to understand, when I say Western audience, I also do include people from the Southeastern Asia region, because typically when there's a Western release for a game, they're in on it as well, if there's not a specific C release, right? It's just the way it goes. But in this game in particular, though, we have a very interesting kind of split where we have the C and the global servers, and then the Japanese server kind of doing its own thing, and it's just, you know, the way it is for this game specifically. When it comes to complaining about game content and stuff, I've very rarely seen it actually go off the rails on Japanese Twitter versus North American Twitter, at least when it comes to content droughts, right? When something bad happens, you know, like bad content patch or, you know, plagiarism, if there is any, whatever, Japanese Twitter all over that. Rabid dogs, they will tear you to shreds. No hesitation, right? But when it just comes to repetitive content or stuff that you may deem kind of, you know, not super exciting, I don't see the same reaction that I see from the Western audiences, which festered very quickly, right? For the first month or so, everyone was okay with it, but by the end of like the second month, people were up in arms, almost rioting about the fact that how dare these devs, after working hard for 2.5 years, decided to just kind of dial it back a little bit. Like, I get it, but like, you guys got to also realize how good we've had it for the 2.5 years. This, honestly, the fact they didn't dial it back sooner is more surprising. But going forward, I also wouldn't just say, oh, because Japanese Twitter isn't doing anything, nothing's going to change. You don't always need Twitter to make changes to something or to realize that your player base isn't happy with how something's done. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that the straight assumption that because, you know, Japanese Twitter's saying nothing's gonna happen. It's just like, we'll see. We finally got something new. Let's see what happens next week. Let's see what happens the week after that. Is this a pattern? Is it a one-off? We'll find out. Don't forget, anniversary is very, very close. Only a few weeks away now. We have the Anime Expo coming up this weekend, which I'm still super excited for. And maybe we'll see something there. I don't know. I'm assuming there's going to be Gundam stuff there because, you know, Bandai Namco is going to be there. So we checking the animations? Yeah, we can totally check the animations for the Astrea. Let's bring up Twitter stuff. But if it's just a clone of the other one, let's see. Okay, yeah, so beam physical split, pretty clear there. Because that's not bindable. Or was that the... No, there's no way that was the bindable. No, it wasn't. Okay. All right. Okay. Like the majority of the melee or shot EX cooldown reducers, it's very flashy. Overall, you know, nothing, to me anyways, nothing terribly amazing. This was pretty much as we expected, you know, just beam, missile, beam, missile. This, I'm not a big fan of. This is very long for what it is, a non-bindable. Very easy looking to whiff, not my cup of tea. That is just very quick, you know, 1, 2, 3. And then this is just kind of off the rails. It's pretty much all it boils down to. I think it looks pretty cool. I like that drift it does before it actually initiates on the enemy. I think that is like cinematically clean, and I like that. Not enough to make me want to roll for it, like the Wing Zero and its colony stuff, but respectable. I like that. FGO stream today. Is there an FGO stream today? I thought it was tomorrow. Is it not? Am I so out of the loop? I've even forgotten when streams are. Wait, where is the... Oh, okay, give me a sec. Let me just punch this into my bot really quickly so I can see how many hours I have to sleep, which is gonna make me big sad. June 29th, 8. So that's... Okay. June 20. That should be clean. Ah, that's why. 6, 28, and 20 hours. And that is in... I'll do it after this stream. Clearly I have enough beer in me that I'm not able to just simply type in a date. No, okay, no, one more time. One more time. Stream time. 29. Seven and a half hours. All right, cool. Lovely. Yeah, Brudax. That's pretty much it, though, right? That's what I'm getting at with this suit. It's like, even though it's technically, and just technically, an improvement on what we've had up in, like, in terms of, like, constant repetition suits, right? Because, gotta remember, for the last how many months, we've just seen the same suits with a different attribute. Even though this is just a variant of a suit we already have, it's a variant we haven't gotten yet. And it's not a different attribute suit, which is huge because it breaks this streak. And that's what I was, excuse me, that's what I was getting at just a little earlier. What we should do is just relax and see if this is a pattern, see if they're going to repeat this, or see if this is it. And that's pretty much all it boils down to, right? So I'm hoping that this is a pattern and they start giving us more new content, but we'll see in the coming weeks. Anyways, man, yeah. I'll be awake for it, I guess. I do have to kind of get my sleep schedule back in order because my work hours got shifted again. So I can't keep waking up at noon anymore. I'm excited. By the way, now this is no longer GBM related, so if you guys were just here for the GBM stuff, y'all can head out. I want to talk about a couple of things here. Maybe just one thing. And it was from, oh no, it's definitely two things. So first of all, I was super happy with that mini direct that happened earlier today, where they showed off Persona going to the Switch as well. Now, even though I'm picking it up on Steam, because look, frankly, I like my Switch. I love my Switch, let's be honest. I love the games that are on it. But at the end of the day, if I have to pick between playing on my PC or playing on my Switch, hands down, it's gonna be on my PC. Yeah, see ya, Brudax. Thanks for stopping by. So with them announcing the Persona games on PC, I was already super happy and satisfied with that. But now they're announcing these remasters and ports and everything, well, I guess more ports, to Switch and pretty much all the consoles. I'm really happy about that, because that was one of the biggest things for me was, you know, trying to get new people into Persona as a franchise, especially leading up to 6 coming out relatively soon. Well, not coming out, but to be announced soonish, probably. Anyways, I like the PC, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox moves. Gives everyone a chance to try out that franchise. I am super in for that. So that was really cool for me. The other one, and this is going to be kind of a, if it's your jam, it's your jam. But I believe it was Stellarvis, was it? Let's see here. I had the name in my head earlier today. Harvestella, that was it. I just had the words flipped around. So one of my favorite franchises is from when I was younger, and I say one of them because I did have quite a few when I was younger. There were games, I loved Sonic Adventure Battle 2, I loved Animal Crossing, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, Donkey Kong, all these franchises I loved as a child, right? So it's definitely up there. Harvest Moon is one of them. And when Rune Factory came out, it was kind of interesting to me because it was effectively Rune Factory with a little bit of spice added in with combat. It was neat, for sure. So a new IP was announced and a trailer was released for Square Enix's new push here, Harvestella, and it was really cool. It looks kind of like if you took Rune Factory 5, which didn't do great on, let's be real, it suffered from a lot of issues, bugs, FPS drops and everything. But it's like taking Rune Factory 5 and giving it that polish, giving it that, AAA shine, And I was really happy about that because Rune Factory 5 was a huge letdown for me. I was actually talking with some of my Final Fantasy guildmates earlier today about it. They were in a tizzy because they saw a commenter say it's like a better Rune Factory. And on one point, I do agree. If you look at purely Rune Factory 5 and look at it from a very superficial point of view, Harvestella does look exactly like a better Rune Factory 5. It's also 3D, but the graphics are much higher quality. It doesn't have the same bugs, at least on the surface level, and it looks to be a much more fleshed out experience in terms of combat and everything else, which, it's really nice. Someone like myself that got burned with Rune Factory 5, that's a huge draw. I'm really excited to see more videos and more content about that game as it gets closer to release. But yeah, that was pretty much my day today outside of work, is just learning about these two things. I was really I had like a really happy day today because of that. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up and head out, guys. I do gotta hit the sack. Like I said, my work schedule's changing up on me. So gotta crash, and I will be up for the FGO stream. Whether or not I do a live stream reaction to it, I think is kind of still up in the air. I still remember that time I did do a live stream coverage and they nuked me from orbit, so I'm still kind of hesitant about it. But yeah, maybe what I'll do is, you know what, actually that is what I'll do. For anyone that is interested in Fate Grand Order's stream that's happening in about 7 hours, I will be in my Discord server. I will have a live stream session in there because YouTube can't stop me there. So I'll do that. Anyways, so for anyone that's going to tune into the FGO stream, I'll see all of you in a handful of hours. For everyone that is not interested in FGO and just here for the Gundam stuff, I will see all of you either potentially at Anime Expo if you're going, or if not, afterwards. I do plan on making a summary type video, a lot like what I did with the LA meetup. Same style of video where I just kind of chronicle my time there and what I did. This time though, it'll be much more centric on me and my group, because the last time the majority of it was spent with the Bandai related stuff. This time though, I'm going to be doing a lot more filming of personal stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. There will obviously still be Gundam stuff in there and Bandai stuff in there, but I can't really say anything until afterwards, so wink wink nudge nudge. Anyways lads, It's been real nice, real fun. I'm glad to see new content being pumped into GPM. As always, thanks for tuning in, hanging out. Thanks for your comments and keeping that discussion going. Peace out. See some of you in a few hours. See some of you next week. Peace out.